it's time to move on to our last topic of episode 203. We're going to talk about Nioh 2. I'll just say right off the top, I played the demo. I'm not touching this game. I have no interest in playing this game. Yeah. However, Matt has been playing the game, and Mitch has been playing the game, and I think Mitch is actually a little bit farther into it than you are.
I think you would have to be.
So I am going to be the man in the middle for this discussion. I'll be the moderator while you two guys discuss the game. Mitch, welcome to the show, man.
Oh, thank you.
You ready to start talking about Nioh 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
My first question for you is it as hard as I think it is based upon the demo that I played?
It's harder.
Harder than I think, or just harder than the first game?
It's harder than
both?
the first game, and probably harder than the demo.
Yeah, I would say both.
There's more features available to you, but at the same time, the enemies have just as much skills, if not more skills than you. So it can become just as difficult.
The beginning of the game is not the demo. After you get through the choose your weapon part, it's not the same area as the demo. But I did still get killed by the first enemy.
Oh, really?
Like my friend was in the room. I was like, yeah, when I played this before, I got killed by the first guy. And she's like, really? Like, that's weird for you. I'm like, yeah. And I walked, it was one of those little demon baby things. Yeah. And it just jumps on me and eats my face. And I die. She's like, wow. I'm like, yes, welcome to this game.
They throw rocks too, don't they?
Yeah, they throw rocks at a distance. But like this, he just like charged me, jumped on my face, and that was it. That was it. That was my first thing in this game, was just getting murdered by the first trash mob.
Now, Mitch, have you played a lot of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and all that kind of stuff?
A little bit of Demon Souls, not much Dark Souls, but I played a crap ton of Bloodborne, finished the crap out of that. That took me like 2 months.
So how difficulty-wise, where would you place this game relative to Bloodborne?
Hardest I've ever played.
Harder than...
This is the hardest game of this kind I've ever encountered.
Wow.
It is
that's crazy.
By far.
I knew it, though. I knew it. As soon as I played that demo, I was like, this is the hardest game.
That demo was crazy hard, too.
And just for context, this B-roll that we're playing right now, this is level 3, so mission 3. Enemies that are in this one were in the demo that I played, so some of these I recognize, but some of them are completely new, and like Matt said, the first level is not the same level. So I'm curious how far that level is in the game.
I don't know. But I mean, not that the early levels were all that much simpler. I'm still barely at the end of the first mission, and I played for like 2 hours. My problem with this game so far is that, it's very hard. The combat, there's a lot to it. Unlike something like Dark Souls, there's actually a whole lot of systems, because it's Team Ninja. So there's a lot of systems happening here. You got to learn how to use these. Some of it's the same as the first game. Some of it's a little different. And quite frankly, at this time, with everything that's going on in the world, I do not need this shit right now.
So we were talking earlier about how it's perfect timing for Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
It is the worst possible timing for Nioh 2.
Yeah, I am bouncing. I mean, I don't think it's the worst possible time for Nioh 2 in the sense that, tons of people are enjoying it. People I know are enjoying it. Fine. This is not what I want right now.
I think a lot of people don't want to be frustrated. Yeah.
But Ori is hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
And it is a pleasant sort of magical hard, and
to
this is
piggyback
more
off
like what the hell. Like I swear to God, there's so many particle effects in this thing that sometimes I don't even know what I'm hitting.
That was a problem with Bleeding Edge, actually.
It's hard for me to tell what's happening, and I feel like I know people praise the combat system from here to eternity, but like, it feels loose and slippery to me. Like, I don't know, and I said that about the demo, and everybody said it was crazy. I find this imprecise in a way that Bloodborne and Dark Souls simply are not.
That's weird for Team Ninja.
I'd say I would agree with you. It's a little loosey-goosey compared to the past games, but I don't think it hinders it to the point where I feel like it makes the game
it's a
not
choice.
great.
I don't think it's an error. I think it's something they chose to make it feel like I just don't like it as much.
Yeah, and to piggyback
Bloodborne.
what you said about the systems, Matt, something about this game is progression is insane in this game. There are so many systems in progression, whether that's your regular stats, your weapons. Every time you use a certain kind of weapon, that gets points.
That levels up.
That
There's
levels
so many
up.
skill trees. There's
They have
skill
the
trees
skill
for every
tree for
weapon
that.
type.
You have every weapon type. You have one for your transformations. You have one for your ninjutsu.
Holy
you have
crap.
Like, you'll see it on the menu just a second that there are so many sub menus and menus, and
It's just system on system on system.
And you'll see right there,
system.
I have 6 points that I cannot spend because I have not beaten a certain mission to unlock the ability to be able to use my point on it. And so,
And you can't use those points anywhere else either,
No.
because
No.
you earn them for that
for
specific,
that specific
weapon.
tree.
Yeah,
that specific. Yeah.
and,
that sucks.
and it's basically just like punishes you.
And
I mean, they're
and
trying
the
to-
upgrades are so incremental. Like it's
Yeah.
tiny little.
Well, when you have that
steps.
many,
yeah.
that's usually how it is.
Like in context, this level, I'm still on this level. I'm trying to beat the boss last night till like 2 a.m. I got so close, and then my roommate goes, "That's harsh," because it was like an inch left. But when I was doing it, I was at level 22. Like
You're at level 22 already, and you're only 3 hours into the game.
I'm level 13,
No,
and I'm
he's
on the first
13.
mission. Like, yeah.
So there, you're just leveling up constantly.
Just grind. Because it hits a point where I'm like, nah, I'm not going to win that. I'm just going to go back and bank my points.
I guess again, if the
I mean, that's Souls basics,
It is,
but like
yeah.
the
it
upgrades
goes
are
up like
so
2
slow.
pixels
Yeah.
or whatever when
It's
you
very
bump
slow.
it up.
Yeah, if you can't beat the boss, my instinct is go through the level again, kill
Yep.
every single enemy again, bulk
Yep.
up on the points, spend it on some upgrades. Maybe you'll find a new weapon or two in the process,
Yep,
but
that's
most of the
all you
time
can
you
do.
won't do that. Or did I not find a secret path because basically what's difference between Nioh games and probably the Dark Souls, the Bloodborns, is each mission is its own condensed level. But it's similar in the aspect of each of them interconnect. That secret passageways leads to the beginning of that level, or a secret passageway will lead to another section. So basically you want to go through the entire space and kill every enemy in there, and once you do, then usually you're powerful enough to take on the boss. Oh, and here's me dying constantly. Have fun with that.
Well, I mean, that is the game.
I do enjoy the little thing it tells you about how you died.
Yes, who killed you and
Who
with
killed you
what
and how.
weapon? It's like a little clue for you.
Now, I mean, to me, I think the way that they're handling those points, how you said you have these skill points that you can't spend, is probably just keeping you from walking through the game. My
Yeah,
guess
it is definitely a limiter on.
Yeah,
on-
they're just like, if we gave you these right now, you would just probably one-shot most of these enemies, and
Yeah.
that's a lame way to do it, in all honesty.
Yeah, Dark Souls doesn't do that. You can
Yeah.
overpower yourself as much as you want.
Right.
It's just there's diminishing returns on how many souls you get from the enemies
Right.
you're killing in a particular area.
That seems like a
It
better
seems
way
like
to
a
do
better
it.
way. I think it is too.
Yeah,
but-
I haven't experienced it, but it sounds to me. As
I
an
also
outsider.
feel a little better in Dark Souls when I get stuck on things. Because usually Dark Souls has a way to like go back and go somewhere else and poke around a different direction, and maybe you'll find a different way. Maybe you'll find something else to do. Maybe you'll find something that doesn't feel like it happens in this so much because it's incremental, like specific, like self-contained missions, which are
Well,
big and,
I mean, it's
and winding.
telling you have to complete this mission
Yeah.
before you can do X, Y, and Z.
But I just hit a lot of points, and this happened in the first Nioh as well. After about halfway through the game, I just hit a point where every time I'd come across like a new section, I just see the thing I had to fight now, and I was like, it's just
That's how I feel
so
in
tired.
these
Yeah.
games all the time.
So like
That is my expression.
I think these games are probably the Nioh games are probably just too hard for me, and
Yeah.
I'm not like interested or hooked on them enough to want to get good enough to overcome that, and
They're
that's not
not-
true of the Souls games.
Here's what I would say. These games are nowhere near as interesting to me as the Souls games.
No, I
Like,
think visually they are. Like I would love to watch like someone play through this like as an expert and see all the monster designs and see all the cool stuff in it.
Oh, the
And the
graphics are
cutscene
way
in it,
better
yeah.
on a technical level.
Well, and the
But just
cutscene. Oh, sorry. The cutscenes are really well made.
Yeah.
Like the action in them. I mean, Matt, you haven't hit it yet for a certain story cutscene that happens, but there's a really cool action sequence that's really well with the cinematography. So,
but there aren't many, right?
no, they're always at the end or sometimes at the beginning of a mission, depending on. And I will say it's not much, but the story is a little bit better than the first game, but it still kind of throws you in and expects you to, figure it out.
It's just, I think my problem with this franchise, now that there are 2 games, I guess it is a franchise, is it just doesn't seem interesting to me. I don't care about the characters in the game or the setting or the plot. I played the demo of this. I did play the first one for a handful of hours before I gave up. And it just, I don't know, it's just something about it just doesn't catch my interest in general.
I like the setting. I think it's interesting. I just, it's just such a dick. Like, that's really the only way I can put it. Like, like Dark Souls feels like a conversation, and like Nioh feels like someone just kicking me until I just like say fine, like
Yeah.
stop. Like, Like it's a little. I find Nioh to be a little more abusive.
Would you recommend this to Souls fans?
I would recommend they try the demo first.
Yeah. I don't know if you
I mean,
can
look,
now.
if you like the first game, you're gonna like this. Like it's
You
not
think so?
it's not that different. No, it is harder, but like if you got through the first Nioh, like you're probably equipped to do this.
Okay.
And not only
did
that,
not.
I would say the systems, adding the transformations, adding the weapons, specialties, all that kind of stuff. I think it adds more options for the people that like this type of game. But having those extra options does not make it more accessible to someone that wouldn't like this type of game.
Not at all. And like a lot of it was also in the first game. So like if you're already familiar with that, you're gonna not need as much explanation on this, and like you're gonna only have a certain number of things to layer on top of what you already know, having gone through the first Nioh. But for me, it's kind of like there's two ways you could go with the medieval samurai magical like hard as nails action adventure game, and one is Sekiro and the other is this, and I vastly prefer Sekiro.
And I would agree with you
so
100%.
take that for what it's worth.
I even think the combat system from Sekiro made me better at this game because blocking is such an emphasis in Sekiro, and in this one, I actually tended to block a little bit more than what I'm used to.
Interesting. Okay.
I find that you run out of stamina for blocking in Nioh 2 so fast that it's better just not be there.
Yeah. Just roll.
Which tends to be true of a lot of these games, especially if you're not using a shield. But
Does rolling and stuff like that not use stamina?
it does.
But just not as much?
It's just like you can get like one 3-hit combo from a decent sized enemy in this game will knock you out.
Yeah.
Like it'll and if you run out of stamina, you're stuck there for a second while you catch your breath, and it's always better just to dodge out of the way if you can. That's at least in my experience. I mean, maybe there's stuff you like once you up the skill tree enough, there's ways to like counter that, and of course there are also like counter moves and like parry stuff, and depending on what weapon you're using, the game changes dramatically in terms of how the combat works based on like which weapons you pick. So like that's pretty cool. Yeah, and there is a lot of variety in it. Like that's the like either you want to do long range, you want to do closer range, you want to do like standard sword, double, and like double swords, totally different from using one sword. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just like
That's Team Ninja.
one sword but faster. It's like
Yeah.
no, this is a completely different and I think harder way
Weapons
to play.
have always mattered in Team Ninja games.
Definitely.
A lot of games, it's almost just like a cosmetic swap that does more or less damage. But in Team Ninja's games, like they look at every weapon and how they're effective, how they're ineffective.
And I went back and forth and traded out several weapons and tried them out back and forth. And I think which weapon you find that meshes with how you like to play is going to be key in whether you enjoy this or not.
So it sounds like from both of you guys, this is strictly only for the Souls Bloodborne crowd.
This is expert mode
Yeah.
for Souls fans, basically, I would say.
Oh, and wait till you get to the boss battles. Those are super extra.
You said it took you,
Expert.
2 hours to beat the first one or something?
Yeah, literally, I was working on it for 2.5 hours. I had to like figure out, I'm not strong enough. I got to go back and build up my XP and, spend those points on upgrading. And it was just a mess.
So there you go. That's Nioh 2, PlayStation 4 exclusive, which I'm surprised that it's...
Is it also on PC?
No, huh?
Not yet?
No. I'm surprised, though. I mean, I really thought that after the first one sold pretty well, that they would probably make the next one multi-platform, but that has not been the case. It is PS4 only. I would not be surprised if a PC version comes eventually, but as of right now, it's PS4 exclusive. So I don't think too many people will be losing any sleep over the fact that they're not able to play it if they're not big fans of extremely challenging games.
No, this game does not mess around.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get good on a level that you don't even have to get. Even on Dark Souls, you don't have to get that good.
Right.
But on this one, like you have my legitimate respect if you finish this game.
Will you keep playing it?
Not right now.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm looking for something a little more escapist.
Doom is good for that.
Doom is pretty much exactly what I need.
In
right
the wheelhouse, yep. Kill some stuff, blow some stuff up.
But it's like it's like any Souls game. If I get stuck or frustrated with them, I will go back to them after a couple days and see maybe this time. And sometimes you have that moment where it just clicks and you figure out, I got it, I did it this time.
Yeah.
And that's really always kind of like the heroin hit of the Souls genre is you were this thing that I never thought I could get through. I did. And now I'm going to keep going until I hit that wall again, and then it's going to happen again.
And, yeah.
It's
there was
that's
a-
the dopamine hit. Like
Yeah.
that's the addiction to that kind of game, and you either have that or you don't. And what Nioh and Nioh 2 have taught me is I think I have limits to how much I have that.
You're running out of dopamine. is what you're
Yes,
saying.
you know, 2 hours to beat a boss, too long.
No thanks.
Too much space between dopamine hits.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say when the combat flows, it really flows,
does.
and it feels so good and satisfying. And there was someone in chat that asked a really good question. I'll answer it really short. Yes, you can summon people to help you in battle.
Oh, we didn't bring that up, actually. It's a huge component of the game.
Yeah, so you can
Yokai.
do that. They are basically they have the same standard of whatever weapons they had, the armor they had. They could have items, tools, all that kind of stuff. But usually they take the blunt of the force, and I tried to use them during boss battles, and it wasn't really that successful. There is B-roll in here that showed that.
Probably
where they
takes too
went-
much time. You got to wind it up and let it rip, and by then you're dead. I can totally understand why that wouldn't work.